We can up the ante a bit and allow users to see their customizations as they are making them. This is done through the post message transport type, and to do it, we need to create a new function. The function is just going to be a bunch of JavaScript that controls all the elements that will have the customization. Let's start simple. Wouldn't it be cool if, as I change the site title and tagline, it changes as I type? It would, right? The problem with this is that every theme is going to handle the classes and elements wrapping their site titles and taglines differently. So WordPress can't just build a function that does that across a board. It needs to be done in the theme by the guy who knows what classes and elements to use. That'd be you. I start by creating a new function, and in that function, I start a new script. We're going to just load the JavaScript in the footer, but if you wanted, you could create a custom JavaScript file for these rules. Performance optimization doesn't matter as much here unless you're on a huge site, because this JavaScript is never going to be run on the front end of the site. In the JavaScript, I use the WP customize function and pass the element I want to attach the live preview to. For this first one, I'm just going to do the footer text. This looks like this. I'm telling the customizer that I want to take the content of the footer option and change the value of the element inside the footer credit. In this case, I'm changing the HTML, so that's what I'm passing. Before this will work, we need to load this JavaScript somewhere. I need to check if we're looking at a live preview window, and this is done with the WP customize object using the isPreview method. If it's a preview and we're not in the admin, because the live preview isn't actually showing the admin of the site, it's just sort of hacking the themes so the theme thinks that the settings are already saved in the database when in fact we're just testing them out. Then I'm going to add this new action to the WP footer. Now if I change the value of my footer text, you can see it changing as I type. Let's allow the title and tagline to be changed in a live preview. For this, you first need to change the transport type for those settings. This is done through the WP customize object again, and using the getSetting method. With getSetting, we can pull in a specific parameter from one of the settings and change it. So I'm going to pull in the blog name and blog description settings. Then we're going to use transport and change that to post message. Once this is done, I need to go down to my JavaScript and add those elements in. I can just copy and paste the WP customize function I just used and change the values. Instead of AP core theme options footer being the setting that I'm changing, it's blog name and blog description. And instead of footer.credit being the element I'm looking for, I'm changing those to siteinfo h2 and siteinfo h3. Everything else stays the same because we're still changing the HTML. Now you get a live preview when you're changing the site title and tagline. But that's not the only thing you can do in a live preview. You can change colors or other CSS on the fly too. This is already supported if your theme has enabled custom backgrounds. Let's try changing the font color. This time, when I use the WP customize function, I'm targeting the element the same. I'm using body to change the body font color. But this time I tell it that I need to change the CSS. Then I pass the element I'm changing, in this case color. This is going to pull in whatever value we're changing and defaults to no value. So we add 2, $2, and an empty string. Now in my customizer, I can change the font color to whatever I want. This can apply to any CSS element. Let's try changing the background color of the content area. I can copy and paste the same code I used for the font color, but change the option setting. This time, I'm using the setting content color. I change the element I'm changing. This time it's the container class. And I change the CSS property that I'm going to be manipulating, background color. Everything else stays the same. Now, assuming my transport is post message, the background color in the content area changes as I use the color picker. Once I save my options, these things go live on the site, but not before I actually save. This way, users can see what their changes will look like as they are adjusting the settings.